What's poppin', everybody? This is Sabro54 with a brand new deck profile in the expanded format. Today we're going to be looking at a deck with Mawile VSTAR. This is a VSTAR from Silver Tempest. Probably not the first VSTAR that comes to mind from that set, but it can actually be pretty cool if you know how to use it. The biggest drawback on it is the 260 HP. I don't like this sort of HP on VSTARs, a stage 1 essentially. It's going to give away 2 prizes. It's still solid, but it would have been better if it had even just 270. Would have been better if it's not going to have 280. But besides that, the HP, everything else on it is pretty good. It has a great attack and a very good ability as well. So with Sudden Eater, it's going to do 90 for 2, so it's DC compatible and all the other DC clone compatible with those cards. And if this card moved from your bench to the active position, it does 90 more damage. So that's 180 for 2, or 1 attachment if you use a DC. So that's pretty good. I mean, it's a pretty good damage output for just 1 attachment. And the condition is easy to meet when you combo it off with a bunch of switches, or you do the combo with Dawnwing's the Crossma and Floatstone. So it's very easy to meet the condition, and we can do 180 every turn. So pretty good. And then the Star Rondo ability combos with this as well. If this Pokemon is on your bench, you can move it in the active position, and then you get a free boss's orders on any of your opponent's Pokemon. So a one-off to synergize with this guy's attack, get that free bonus, and of course you get to pull. So very, very nice, for sure. Now the regular Mawile, we won't be able to utilize it that much. Pouty Slap, just 30 for 1. I guess that's okay. And then if you get ahead, so you can discard an energy. I don't have any psychic energies though in this deck, so we'll never be able to do that anyway. And then Chomp Down. I guess if you attach 2 of the DC energies in here, you can do 100 and then discard a card from your opponent's hand. Maybe it'll come up, but not really the main attack we want to focus on. This is just our method to get the Mawile VSTAR out. I say Mawile, but I think it's pronounced Mawile or whatever. I've always called it Mawile. Anyway, so you can definitely use this deck in standard if you run a lot of switches, a lot of escape ropes, and then you run a few Pokemon with free retreat, like let's say the Tapu Koko that I use, or something else with free retreat. But I decided, hey, I really want to use this in expanded. We get a bunch of other things we can utilize in expanded. So went for an expanded version. Greatest partner, of course, is going to be Dawnwing's the Crossma GX for this combo. You can use Keldeo EX if you want to as well, but because this guy is a psychic Pokemon, we have synergy with a lot of the cards here, so it's easily more searchable. Yeah, Final Resistance too. I guess maybe it'll take a hit. Perhaps 180 HP is low, but it's what we have to use. Okay, so 2 of these. And the weird addition, you might think, is what the hell is a Blaziken VMAX doing here? And the answer is quite simple. Mawile VSTAR is weak to metal, so against metal decks, we're not really going to do much. We'll be able to hit them, I guess, maybe for 180 once, and then Mawile is going to die in one shot on any metal attack. I mean, 260 HP, it might even be dying in one shot against anything. Who knows? I hope it can survive. So that's why weak to metal. And Blaziken, Max Blaze, 130 for 2. It's once again the DC compatible. We're not going to be able to utilize the rapid strike effect and combos you can do with this guy, but it just does a nice 130 for just 1 attachment. It's a big VMAX, you never know. Gives me that fire coverage. So 130 times 2, it's 260. It's heavy damage against metal Pokemon. And if you have a Muscle Band, it's going to be 150, 300. It's going to take care of a lot of things. So that's why I run this guy, a 2-2 line. You can even begin doing High Jump Kink with one of your DCs. So that's the point of this guy. 2-2 line. If we don't play against metal Pokemon, we're not going to use him. But I mean, it's not just metal Pokemon. There's always a few things that are weak to fire. Grass Pokemon weak to fire, metal Pokemon, other random stuff. So that fire coverage can be useful. And then because I have the space, I also decided to throw in this guy, Drapion V. This is supposed to be the #1 counter for Fusion Strike Mew because it's darkness, gonna hit them for weakness. 190 damage times 2 is always gonna get that 1 hit KO. And the Wild Style ability, of course, it's for this guy to essentially attack for free or just for one energy. So it's gonna work. I guess if we play against Single Strike and Rapid Strike Pokemon, then you can also get this sort of benefit. I decided to throw him in once again. We don't have a great way to search him, but against that matchup, he could be great. Put in some work. Okay, and for the other Pokemon, just support. I have the typical Tapu Lele GX. Get me supporter cards with Wonder Attack. We can also use it to attack as well, since it needs DC. It needs a DC to attack, basically. Probably won't do that though. And the Mew for bench protection. And then I also put in this Mr. Mime from, I think it was Unified Minds. I'm not quite sure. I think that's the set. But one of the later Sun and Moon sets. So scoop up block, prevent your opponent from scooping up their cards, basically, with things like Acerola, AZ. So that's pretty good. Now I have this card because since we have the space, I thought I might as well use as a Pokemon that can help us. You don't want to be doing damage and then they heal or scoop up their Pokemon. So just in case that happens, this guy can help prevent that. My stadium of choice in this deck as well is the Dynatree Heal to prevent my opponent from healing. What you could do in this deck actually is instead of running these cards, you could do like your own max potions. Since we only attach one energy to attack, it's easy to pull off, I guess, on Mawile and especially Blaziken VMAX. So you could do this if you wanted to. But instead, I'm just going to prevent my opponent from healing. Alright, trainer cards, we have a lot. Ace pick of choice, computer search, consistency. Nothing really else that you can really put in here except maybe dowsing machine perhaps. Everything else is just going to be redundant. You could put in maybe the scramble switch, but there's not much point because it's not like we can build up a big ass attacker. Put a bunch of DCs on somebody and it's going to work. What, you're going to do this on Lele? It's not worth it. So computer search makes the most sense, or dowsing machine. Then I've got a Max, a Fog Crystal, get our Psychic Pokemon. We also get them in hand. So it's a great way to add Tapu Lele without losing its effect. Grab a supporter. So max this out, then I do double Mysterious Treasure. There's a way to get basic Psychic Pokemon and also get the evolutions in hand. So mainly this guy. And I do one Nest Ball, just a generic searcher. Something I guess to get the Blaziken and maybe get this guy. Just free, no effect, no discarding. Same with the evolution and sense. A way to get the Blaziken, I guess, and a way to get this guy without paying a cost. This guy, not the V. So that's the point of that. And that's about it. I think that's more than enough searches with this deck. This is a very low maintenance deck. Just stage once, one energy attachments should put in the work. Got some techs, I guess, for what we're going to do here. The muscle bands boost our attack. Pretty good. It's going to make this guy hit for 200 for 1, which is, I guess, a little bit better. And we also need something to just soften up the damage decrease from the double turbo energy. I don't want to run this card, but it's the only way, the only other option besides double colorless energy. There's triple acceleration, which I'm running 2 of these, but if you opt to favor this completely, you might find yourself not having energies or just not being able to attach them before you evolve. Shit like this that I've learned with Salamence. So, gotta favor the double turbo energy. So Muscle Band, at least it's gonna soften up that. Just increase our damage, period. The double Float Stone, I mean, this is for Dawnwing's Necrozma. But we do have a switch. Regular switch is good as well. And we do have the Guzma as well for this. So I think that's more than enough switching outlets to go around. Other standard cards, I guess, is the mail that I have additional consistency. Double field blower, get rid of annoying tools or stadiums. What else? I've got this laser too, just additional pressure, something to just play, get out of our hand, and maybe it can give some trouble to your opponent, give them extra damage. Once again, just sort of an aggressive deck, just an easy to play deck. And what else? What else? The adventure bag. Can't forget about this. So I do run a lot of tools in this deck, so might as well run this +1 of a card adventure bag. Get me those float stones and muscle bands. So that works out nicely. And the one rescue stretcher, just a little bit of recovery. A 3-2 line might be a little bit thin for our main attacker here, but I've only managed to get 2 of this guy. So yeah, maybe we could do like 4 and 3 or 3 and 3, and then maybe I could drop like maybe a Blaziken VMAX, maybe drop Mime. Just a few things, but for now it's just a 3-2 line. It's gonna get the job done. The idea is we don't want this guy to die in one shot. But I mean, it's kind of crazy. You look at 260 HP and then you're thinking to yourself it's low these days. That is what Pokemon has trained me to do. Anyway, so I think all that's left is the supporters now. I didn't miss anything from the item cards. But typical stuff on this end as well. The one chorus that I like and expanded. Max out my Cynthias. Solid shuffle and draw. Got the 1N. Got 2 Professor Research. You can use Junipers or whatever. The same thing as this guy. I want to be a bit careful with my discarding. So that's why I'd rather favor Cynthia as opposed to just a 3rd copy of this dude. Got the usual one Skyla that I like. And basically that's it, the Guzma as well. So Guzma as opposed to Boss's Orders because it gives us that switch in as well, which is very nice. Oh, double VS Seeker actually too. How could I forget about this card? Alright. And then the energies, it's the 4 double colorless, you gotta max this out. Got the triple double turbo energy, basically the DC, but just weakening your attack by 20. 2 triple acceleration energies, could be good as well. And then the 1 rapid strike energy, I just decided to put this as something to put on Blaziken. If we do have to use him, then we don't gotta waste some of our other energies. So that's the point of this card. I mean, I guess this guy, you know, if you can't hit for weakness, it's not going to do that much damage. But if you can do like 130, 150, and then Molly's going to follow it up with an attack, it still puts you in that range that you get 2 hit KOs on most of the things. You know, V-Stars, maybe some V-Maxes. So it's not terrible, but the idea is we want to use him to hit for weakness to get any real use out of him. Alright. So that's basically the deck profile, guys. Like I've said, you can definitely use this in standard too. All you have to do is just, well, you're going to have to adjust the trainer skeleton. You won't be able to have these broken supporter cards in standard. But, you know, you can build it. Just run a lot of switches, run a lot of escape ropes, and use Pokemon with free retreat. They're not going to be as versatile as Dawnwing's Necrozma. You get that absolute board control with Invasion. But you can definitely make it work too. And even things like Blaziken are in standard. This guy's in standard too. So you can definitely get the job done. Alright. So this is the deck profile, guys. I'm going to show you guys matches as I always do. Hope you enjoyed this. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a like. Share this video with your friends. And I'll see you guys next time. What